Hello, truth seekers. Lawrence here, and welcome to Easy Enlightenment. So, don't you feel like seeking truth, seeking spiritual freedom feels like finding the needle in the hay? You've been putting so much effort to get there, but you're not there yet. The process seems like that, isn't it? And when the process is difficult, the ego wants to quit. Now, especially, when the hay is so much and you have to find the needle in the hay, the ego gives you the idea of just get the new needle. Why bothering, going through this hassle? Or create your own needle. Forget about the one you have, lost it. This kind of mentality is coming from the place of relative world. In the relative world, when you lose it, you can always buy one, get a new one. You pay and get a new one. But when it comes to spiritual practice, there is no another one you can replace for the old one. If you want to be free, you have to, go through taking out the hay. And that's the way to do it. Your life is already struggle. If you don't declutter, life is gonna unfold the way it's unfolding right now, which is struggle, which is fear. And if we don't want to live from the place of conflict and fear, we have to do some work. If the needle is lost in the hay, how to find the needle is by taking out its straw of hay, one by one. The spiritual practice is like that. It's you take the straw one by one and you see it, whether, it's hidden in it. And then you take it out and put it in a new place, all the hay. Eventually, when you take out all the hays, you will find the needle underneath the hay. Just like that, the truth is forgotten. And to see the truth, we must take out all the hays. The hay here is, in the spiritual practice, is our belief, our ideas. The ideas, the belief, the preference is the mind. And when the mind is so big, because of the huge mind, we have forgotten the truth, the needle. And how to get to the truth is, investigating our mind, investigating our belief, especially the belief that we see is true. Notice some of the belief we have in us is true, isn't it? And our life is moving from that belief to maintain that belief and refine that belief. There are so many beliefs in us, and we see them as true. One of the highest belief we have is the idea of God, isn't it? God is true. Even we have no what is God, but it's true. Why? Because everyone is following it. When everyone is following it, then it must be true. So, by having that idea for decades and decades, it has become true. That's the highest meaning. Now, there are other ideas in us are true from the place of our experience, isn't it? Life is happening, we are experiencing stuff, and every experience brings idea. And some of the experience that has created this shift, a major shift in our lives. And when there's a major shift, that experience and the idea left by that experience is true now. And on that idea, there's an upgrade, the refinement. But still, the same idea. And that's just one scenario of your life. Now, there are so many ideas that are true. There are so many aspects of your life. In every aspect of life, there is something true. You have seen it. And yes, it is true in the relative sense. And every time you repeat this idea, you're unfolding the positive result. And every time you see the positive result, that belief is concretizing in you. It ingraining in you harder and harder. And when something starts to become true, the idea becomes true, we start to move away from the unchanging truth. We move away from who we are to who we are not. And we have become the belief rather than what supports that belief. We have forgotten the background that supports the belief to rise and fall. We have forgotten we are consciousness. We have forgotten we are awareness. We have forgotten we are the nature of the bigger picture. We have forgotten that completely because of our experiential world. The experiential world is physical. And the physical world, feels real to us compared to, beyond physical. And that's why everything we go through in life, when something comes in a way that makes a bigger shift in life, we start to see that as true. But this is the thing, what we have seen true hasn't dissolved the inner conflict and fear in life for good, isn't it? Even we have seen something as true, the fear still exists. Now, this should be the sign that what we believe to be true is not true. Why? Because the truth is the only aspect that can dissolve the fear in life, the conflict in life. So, if we can see the conflict is never ending, the fear is never ending, then we must, at least see that there's a contradiction in what we are believing. And we already have a reference that who we are is not a belief. The truth of who we are is there, but it's not a belief. And how to get there is reverse engineering. Who we are right now is the idea through experience. And that's not true. And how to get there is reversing the layer, dismantling the layer. And when we dismantle the layers, then what is left is the truth. And that is the needle hidden beneath the hay. All belief is like, hey, gotta take out, gotta reverse the idea that is so ingrained in us. And, reversing the idea also is about reversing the emotional aspect too. Emotion is the further extension of the mental construction. There's the idea. When the idea is prolonged through the mental construction, then there's the emotional construction. And from there, there's a psychological construction. But to see the emotional construction and psychological construction is about reversing the idea. Reversing the idea, reversing what we think who we are, reversing that brings a lot of uncertainty, a lot of, emotional aspect. And from that ride, we get to find the needle in the hay. We will be able to find the truth beneath all the belief that we see true right now. So, don't hesitate to, be part of the reverse engineering. You make a habit of reversing the mind. You live your practical life. You don't neglect, you don't reject, you don't throw away. You live however your life is right now in a healthy sense, but at the same time, create the foundation of reversing the mind. And reversing the mind will help you along the way what to do in the practical world. I'm saying this because when people start to be part of the spiritual path, the spiritual path makes the people reject the world. Why? Because the world is giving them so much torture in their life, and because of that, people just throw away. Whatever you're trying to throw away, whatever you have thrown away is done by your own ego. Because of the dualistic view. You think spirituality is peace, happiness, joy. What you are experiencing is opposite to peace, joy, happiness. So that's why you reject. Let me tell you, after enlightenment, after waking up to the truth of who you are, you still need that. So why bother fighting with the world? Let the world be. Just be part of the self-inquiry practice of reversing the mind. And again, I'm telling you, reversing the mind is the way to, help you rearrange your practical world. The refinement happens by being part of the self-inquiry. But without a self-inquiry, throwing stuff away from your life, you will end up regretting later. Especially when you don't find the truth, when you can't figure out the truth, what happens? You're frustrated by your spiritual practice, and also you have, give up the world. And you're like, you're there, but you're not there supporting your own life. You have disconnect the connection from your life. So, avoid fighting with the world. If you have the fight, your ego is fighting with the world. Instead of fighting with the world, question yourself, why am I fighting with the world? And you're fighting just because of the spiritual belief that you're fighting with the world. You're fighting because of someone's idea that you know copy and paste in your life. It's not even yours. You're interested in spirituality, but you copy someone's idea and you're moving with someone's idea, and then you're just fighting. If you're fighting, then that shows that you have a lot of ego to be dismantled. All fight, all control is a sign of stubborn ego. That means there's a lot of hay in your life. And stubbornness shows even more hay. And finding the needle in the hay is a lot of work. And that's why there's a saying that work on your attachment and fear, and that is a direct way to figure out the truth. It is true. Heavily influenced, ingrained belief are the one that shows a lot of fear in you. Otherwise, why would you have so much preference? Why do you have so much belief in your life? Why do you see something is true in your life? Just to avoid the fear. Again, your belief preference is practical in the world, but practical world is about upgrading the belief. Upgrading the belief in a way to, move towards the simplicity of life, not complexity. That is getting lost. Complexity is getting lost. Belief and rearranging the belief and moving towards simplicity is a healthy ego. But spiritual freedom is not about the ideas, rearranging the idea. It's not about rearranging the mind. People are rearranging the mind in the spiritual practice. That ego is rearranging the mind when you can't find the truth. Don't do that. That doesn't help to dissolve your fear, dissolve the conflict. That doesn't dissolve your mind. Rearranging the mind is getting stuck in the mind. It's a reverse engineering, dissolving the mind. The outward journey is rearranging the mind. Inward journey is reversing the mind. Now, another thing here, when you are so into meditation, you are seeing your meditation as reversing the mind. And that's not true. Meditation is not reversing the mind until you have a self-inquiry coming in. Meditation or silence practice is just, controlling the body and mind to stay in simplicity. Simplicity is not true freedom. Simplicity is not truth. So sitting in the meditation, taming your body and mind with a visualization, with a mantra, with creating a focal point in the body, is you just be, that helps you to be focused. That helps you from, complexity of the mind towards the simplicity. That's what meditation provides you. But when you are focused, when you can rearrange yourself in your life through meditation, that's just helping you in the relative world, in the practical world. But after being focused from your meditation, the next step is be part of the inquiry and reverse the mind. That means take out the hay. We're talking about finding the needle in the hay. Then you have to work on, removing the hay to find the needle. And that is not even there for a lot of the meditators. They are just okay with the meditation that supports, life to a certain extent, and they're just comfortable with that. But notice, if you're comfortable from your meditation, your life is still stressful, isn't it? Your life is still stressful. You're struggling. There's pain, emotional pain, physical pain is there. Why? Because you haven't dealt with your fear. until you deal with your fear and figure out why the fear is there, and dissolve the root cause of the fear is gonna rule your life. That means your ego is making you live like that by denying your true self, denying the truth, the inner truth. And because of that, there's a struggle. So it depends on how what's happening, what scenario that you are in. Sometimes being part of the true reality comes from the rock bottom experience. When you see nothing is working, no matter what layers you have invited, nothing is helping you to be free. Then there's a realization that, okay, let me be part of the journey to figure out the truth. And that's where the self-inquiry comes in, to set you on fire, to burn down all the faults in you. And from there, what is left is the real you. And only seeing the real you makes you settle in peace, settle in what is, and also provide you how to be part of the world. The backward reversing journey already teach you so much that you know how to be part of the world. And being part of the world is, being conscious and rearranging things, post-enlightenment journey. But you're not there. So, for easy, fearless life, you must reverse your mind first. You need to find the needle first. Okay? So when there's so much to dismantle, don't feel, fear to dismantle, Just be part of the day, dismantling work, make a habit. Habit will, show you the next step. Okay? So that's all in this video, guys. Hope this video makes sense to you to some extent. I hope I'm inspiring you to be part of the practice, because I see value in reverse engineering work, and it helped me tremendously. And the reason to make all these videos are to, guide you, just guide you by providing the reference so you can walk on your own and set yourself free. Okay, and I thank you for supporting this channel. Appreciate. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Take care for now. Bye.